So it's the morning of day 11 of cycling, and we've just set off about 5 minutes ago, following the new river trail, and here is the new river. It's pretty amazing. It's the biggest body of water we've seen so far on this trip. And hopefully, if the weather clears up, we should be able to go for a swim. Yeah, we got a nice, pretty high bridge here. Ooh. Ooh.
Looks a bit brown.
Hello, hello. And we're back. As you can see, we have just been battered and we are feeling pretty knackered.
Yes.
A little update from our last shot. So we finished the new river trail, got to the town of Galax, a nice little town. We had our first night of rain.
Pretty uneventful, to be honest.
Yeah, it was meant to be.
Very much rain.
It was meant to rain all night, but we managed to find this very dense forest and we slept in there and we were pretty safe for most of it. So it didn't feel like we even got that much rained on that much.
Yeah.
Everything stayed dry. It's pretty good.
Good test of the tent. Can confirm, great tent.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so we were absolutely knackered on the yesterday, waking up. We'd had about 3 or 4 days of headwind, and basically a storm was on its way over, and that storm arrived, hence the wind, hence the rain.
Yeah, and the night temperature of last night went down to 26 Fahrenheit, which is like what, -3, -4?
-4 degrees. Bearing in mind it was like 23 degrees centigrade in the day before, and it dropped to -3 in the night.
Yeah.
And now we've got a huge high pressure system over us, and it's about 1 o'clock and it's 7 or 8 degrees centigrade. It is cold. Like,
it's actually right where we're sat right now because there's like a nice sun.
We're blocked by the wind.
As soon as
behind
the
us.
wind comes, oh my gosh, we've just had to do quite a lot of downhill, and there's just like, it's actually almost unbearable at points. Like, I got brain freeze. It's so bad.
It is actually unbearable. Like, you can't. The thing is, we started off wearing a t-shirt, a jumper, and a windproof coat. So we were nice and we were warm enough, and then you go up one hill, and then the t-shirt gets sweaty and soaks in sweat. And the moment you go down a hill, you just freeze again because of the sweat. It just gets cold, and then you go back up a hill, you get sweaty again. So you take the layer off, and then you go down the hill again, and it's freezing cold, and it's just, and then you, oh man, yeah. The sun's really warm, the wind is freezing, and
the air is cold.
The air is cold, so
it's quite confusing.
It's just no nice temperature.
It's not ideal for cycling, to be honest.
Yeah.
At one point I was like, I'm so cold, I'm gonna cry.
You were
crying. And then I literally did cry, and it actually helped because it warmed my face with the tears. It's a tactical move and would recommend to all cyclists in the wind.
We got to the bottom of this big hill, and I arrived a bit sooner because I go a bit faster, and Emily was like, like tears in her eyes, just like you've been sobbing down the hill.
I was like, maybe this will help. It actually did. It kept the corners of my face warm.
But it's had the same problem. It keeps your eyes nice and moist, stops the cold air from drying you out.
Oh dear, it was a bit rough.
So basically, a summary of the last few days. Yesterday was great because we were in this. It was like a sleazy motel. It stank of cigarettes. It was just kind of like everything you'd expect from a classic kind of crappy American motel, sorry. Crappy TV, lovely bed and a lovely shower.
Lovely bed,
that's all we needed.
The shower was wonderful. Exactly. Realised that from the trip, all you need, bed, shower, sorted.
Yeah. We start
essentials.
You appreciate the yeah.
Although you do get a bit too comfortable. It's quite a difficult challenge leaving this morning. Nice warm room into the 1 degree outside.
Yeah, literally. We went to Hardy's though, and we had 1,000 calories of cinnamon buns and
Cinnamon.
French toast and just so much sugar. Yeah.
Lots of coffee.
Yeah. So we've had a pretty tough week since
Yes.
since the warm showers with Jeremy.
Tough cycling.
This storm, or the wind now, that wind has been battering us. 20-mile-an-hour winds every day in our face.
Yeah.
And hence why this video is just, we just don't have the energy to film, because every time we stop we're just like let's lie down, and then before we know it our 20-minute rest time is over and we have to keep going.
Yeah, if we filmed every break we have at the minute, I think it would just be like cameras set up on the floor, us like, why?
I hate wind. What are we doing, Emily? You get the idea though. Yeah, so
We're actually quite comfy now.
once we reach the crest of this hill in about 10-15 kilometers, we then have 600 meters of downhill. 625 meters, that is from the highest point to the lowest point, and we are currently here. So we've got a few more hills, and that's the crest of the hill I was just talking about, and then 600 meters of downhill. It goes below the start thing, and you can see it ends just there. We've spent the last 10 days climbing, spending hours and hours toiling and hard work, fighting against the wind, and now it's all going to be taken away from us in a matter of 5 kilometers.
In which we're going to put 24,000 layers on.
Yeah.
To zoom down the hill at extreme speed.
Believe me, it is cold when you're going downhill. Like, I mean, imagine skiing. It's skiing without your skiing gear on.
Yeah.
It's essentially what it is.
Skiing in thin leggings and a jumper.
Yeah.
Thin jumper.
So we're about to come off the mountains. As you can see, Emily's very excited. Still, we're pretty high up. So we're about to hit the 600 meter descent.
So funny.
And as you can see, we are laid up.
Gearing up.
Laid up as much as we can. But we're at the top of the hill now and we're not moving, and it's cold. So I'm currently wearing a t-shirt, a thermal, a jumper, and a windproof raincoat, and this big thick snood.
We just got a very funny look from that guy driving up the track.
Emily's wearing
Everything's strangled.
a thermal, 2 jumpers.
Yeah, t-shirt, jumper, coat, snood.
Right, we'll see you at the bottom. Hopefully it's still in one piece. And hopefully it should be a few degrees warmer down there, but it's still going to be cold. See you later. So, we made it down to the bottom of the hill. It was 10 kilometers, and we went down 600 meters. And by the time we got to the bottom, even in all our layers, we were both like frozen stiff.
Yeah, I had to do quite a lot of star jumps to warm up.
And we only managed to get another 3 or 4 kilometers before it was like, it's just too cold. It's just too cold to cycle. So
Yeah.
we found the first possible place to put our tent up. We're underneath the bridge. A little more obvious than the last bridge, but we don't think anyone's going to go around us, so we should be okay.
Yeah. Trying to get all the heat in early. I'm already in my bag, 4:30 p.m.
It's literally, we're all like layered up. I'm still cold.
It actually scares me that it's like 40 degrees. I don't know what that is English anymore. And it's going to be 27 tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be like -3 or 4. My bag, its extreme level is -3. Emily's is -10, so she's fine. My comfort level is like 8 degrees. But yeah, it's 4:30 and we're lying in bed. I'm probably going to cook some food in the next hour, read some books,
Yeah.
and then go have an early night. Good morning from...
Morning.
This is our campsite last night under this lovely bridge. This is probably one of the better campsites, despite being completely exposed on this side and over here. We didn't get bothered at all. Went to bed at like 7:30, woke up at 7:30. I don't know how we were managing to sleep so much, but it's probably making quite a big difference. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to our cycle across America. So, what's happened?
Our first weird encounter with American locals.
Yeah, so we were cycling through basically the middle of nowhere. Like it was very beautiful, but it was in the middle of nowhere, and all the people, the country folk, basically just have their dogs loose in their front garden, and most of these dogs are pretty nasty.
Yeah, most of them will bark at you as you come past. Some of them are on like long lead things, so they can't get to you.
Yeah, they can get just to the road, and but they can't get onto the road. So they come up really viciously, like snarling and growling right up to your ankles, but then they get pulled back by the leash at the last minute.
Yeah.
Some of them have electronic collars that, so they know they can't get that far.
I think they must have them maybe at the boundary or whatever, because some of them will run really fast up to the boundary and stop with like seemingly no reason.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
there's an invisible line and it will just completely stop at the line. It's quite weird.
So we've been past about, I don't know, 5 or 6 of these horrible dogs, and come across these 2, which is in a big front garden, on a road which has basically no cars on it. And they saw me. I was about 50 meters ahead of Emily, and they saw me and they came bounding towards me like as fast as they could, barking and biting at my heels. I had to lift one of my legs up off the pedal to try and get away from it. And then I was in my highest gear going down a hill basically, and they were still right on my tail. And then all of a sudden, one of them just starts making like whimpering, like ow, 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 noises as if it'd been, I don't know, stepped on or hurt.
Which I can confirm because I was cycling behind.
Yeah, so I didn't touch it or anything, but it went back, whimpering back to its owner, and I assumed it had a collar on and it'd gone past its boundary and the collar had kicked in. Didn't think much of it at the time. Then about 3 or 4 minutes later, a big pickup truck comes like racing past us, kind of skids in front of us, and a man comes out and he just stares at us as we climb the hill, and he says, "What did you do to my dog?" I was like, "What?" He's like, "My dog, what did you do to my dog?" I'm like, "Look, honestly, I have no idea." He's like, and he said, "Oh, my dog came back whimpering and crying basically," and he thought we'd attacked it. He was mad at us, really mad, and we just kept saying we didn't do anything, we're just cyclists, we didn't, you know. I said I was afraid, so I cycled away. And he said, "My dog don't bite people." I beg to differ. I think if I gave the dogs a chance, they probably would have.
I think it definitely would have, the way it was acting.
He went on for a couple of minutes, and then he eventually got the idea that we're harmless, and he kind of just let us go.
I think he kind of just wanted someone to pick a fight with, to be honest.
Yeah, it was bizarre. My theory is that the dog actually tripped over its own feet and basically like fell over on the road, because it was going, like, I was in my highest gear and he was going the same speed, so he was going full pelt. So I reckon he stubbed his toe on the ground, and that's what made him go. His truck had American flags all over it, and I'm pretty sure his front garden had a Trump sign.
Yeah, his hat had a flag thing on it as well. I was like, oh no.
Yeah. Weird. And then I kept thinking for the next 10 miles, because it was a really quiet road, and that road went on for a long time, that he was just going to show up out of nowhere and pull over again, and pull a gun out or something. Yeah, it's bizarre.
Yeah, I had that actually. Every time a truck drove past after that, I was like, oh god, he's come back with the dog or something.
Yeah, like, that's it, I'm dead.
Oh yeah, and then we camped in a little forest where, I don't know if there was a kennels next to us or something.
Oh my god.
But there was dogs barking literally all night, like non-stop. It sounded like a herd of like 20 of them. It was actually kind of sad because I feel like they kind of have been happy dogs to be barking for 12 straight hours through the night as well. It was really weird. It like echoed around the whole valley.
But they were barking to about 3 AM, like just non-stop. Emily said to me, We were both kind of in and out of sleep, and Emily said at like 2:30, like, has Ned Dog lost his voice yet? It was fucking like 4 hours straight. So we were at our bed spot for this evening.
Love it, lovely forest.
As you can see,
Nice sunset.
there are thorns everywhere. It's not a very nice bit of forest, but we've managed to
We literally gardened this area with our bare hands.
we spent the last 20 minutes.
Mother Nature.
20 minutes clearing this area of all thorns and anything remotely pointy. And just to demonstrate how soft it is.
Here we go, no thorns. This is when I find another one like